Hello, everybody, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of the Moderately Athletic Podcast. I am your host, Sam Wantock, and like every week, I am joined by Tyler Noctigal, and Ethan Decker. But there's more. We've got a fourth fella coming into the Moderately Athletic fold, and his name is Hayden. Hayden, how's it going, my guy?
I'm good, thank you for that introduction. Very sweet of you.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, that's what we like to do. We like to be fellas supporting fellas around here. And, just because Hayden's new, want him to talk first, but I never exclude you boys. Tyler, Ethan, or Decker. I called you Ethan, oh my God. How's it going?
A little less good, I think, since you called me by my first name, Sam, to be honest, but we'll let it slide.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Tyler, you good?
Yeah. I had a great day. Work was fun
today.
Yeah, work was fun. I was up to some hijinks, some dilly-dallying here and there.
Did you wake up on time today, or was
I
it
did wake up on
close
time.
call?
No.
Oh, that's
no.
huge. That's big.
I woke up early today, actually. So excited.
Yeah, I mean, heck, it's always exciting when it's the Moderately Athletic Podcast recording day.
That's
and
right.
For that exact reason, I was excited as well. But you know what? Let's not. Let's just jump right into it now. So today we're going to be sharing our record predictions for the AFC whole entire conference. We're going to go through all the divisions, talk about the teams, where they were last year, how they're looking going into this year, and we're going to give you our general ranking inside each of the divisions. But before we do any of that, Hayden, last week it was our award predictions, and we were so unkind to not have you involved last week that you didn't get to share.
No, it's
so
good.
We're going to give
I was
so,
busy. No worries.
That's fair. So we're going to give you the opportunity to share your award predictions in a brief little segment here.
It will be very brief. I'm currently looking at the lists of the options, so it shows you how much time I put into it. I'm going to go MVP Joe Burrow.
Ooh.
Offensive Player of the Year. I'm going to go Breece Hall. I think he's a dog, dude. I'm going to take some shots here.
A lot of opportunity with Breece. I agree with that.
I had him on fantasy last year. I was waiting. I just was so pissed when Rodgers got hurt week 1, because then everyone just knows it's going to be Breece handling the ball. But I think this year they have a more competent offense when they're not injured.
I have to agree.
Defensive Player of the Year.
Brian Burns.
Have a little fun with it.
I didn't even, bro. I thought he was still on the Panthers when I saw that on the Excel sheet. That one's on me. That shows. Anyway.
That's good. Sam didn't know who Byron Murphy
Defensive
was. So.
Player of the Year.
I did it.
I'm gonna go Myles Garrett.
Okay,
like
two Pete. Yeah.
Who else picked him?
Nobody.
Nobody else picked him.
Oh,
You
really?
haven't picked anybody same yet.
Really?
No, he won last year though. That's sort of
yeah.
why I said two Pete. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not even the favorite. Well, at least not on this website. I don't know when this was written, but
He was due last year, and he got his due last year, so now he's not due.
Offensive rookie. I'm going to give it to J.J. McCarthy. It's maybe a little biased. I think he's just got the best team around him. Out of the
Bro's
guys.
not even going to start.
Yeah.
Well, I know, but he's going to – I think he comes in, after the bye. That's what I'm saying. And then I think he has a good end of
There's
the year.
no way he can win putting up half the year's
gosh,
stats.
you need to have a great
when
second.
Caleb is going to be
think-
starting the whole year.
Yeah,
and
but I don't
Jaden
think –
Daniels going to be winning the whole year.
Winning the whole year?
Or playing
right.
the whole year, excuse me.
I don't know.
I don't
I
think
just
it's out
think
of the question that he doesn't
it's-
play at all, but I think it's just sort of like
Going up against
Yeah, I
Caleb
know.
I think you need to
Numbers
play the whole season. You could play well enough, but
I
it needs to
understand.
be a full season.
I think
feel
you can earn it though. Like if you play hot towards the end of the year, you can you can get the votes, which is when he'll be playing, I think. Unless Sam Darnold has a stellar year, which would be even better case scenario, and then I'd be happy to be wrong. It's probably gonna be wrong anyway. Whatever. We'll move on. Off defensive rookie of the year. Ooh, Dallas Turner, #1 odds. But I think I agree with Decker here. I like cornerbacks. They've been the ones kind of showing up right out of college and looking really good. So I agree with Decker. I remember he said he had Byron Murphy.
Wait.
Oh boy.
You did it again.
You did it again,
you
folks.
You did it too. Yeah.
2 weeks in a
So
row.
I made the exact same mistake. So it's the Byron Murphy Jr. on the Vikings, and then this is Byron Murphy the second.
Oh,
who's
yeah,
the D
yeah.
tackle out of Texas. Yeah. Don't worry, I made the exact same mistake last year. Do not.
We can use the same thumbnail for
bad.
YouTube. We can. We just replace Sam's face with Hayden's.
Yeah, honestly.
All right. Well,
No,
I can't.
that's
pick
easy for me.
Cooper DeJean. So which one of the? It's Mitchell, right? He's the cornerback.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Quinyon?
my bad. Yeah, Quinyon Mitchell.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
All right, that was on me. Comeback player of the year. Did you do these ones too, or did you just?
Yeah, we
do
did.
Yeah,
some?
we did.
You did all of them.
Come back and then coach.
Okay,
Yeah.
comeback. I think it's gonna be Rodgers.
You have to pick Rodgers. Yep, we all picked
Yeah.
Rodgers, so you have to pick him.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
gotta be.
It just keeps us all on the same
Because
page.
I do have the Jets in the record predictions winning quite a few. Coach of the year. I don't even know who Shane Steichen is. Who does he coach?
Oh, he's the Colts
Okay.
head coach.
All right. I'm gonna go probably Salah. I think this is a make or break year. I think he knows that if he doesn't do well, he's out.
Yeah, I mean,
He's quite
That's
the
a
ways
good
down
pick,
here on the
yeah.
list, but I don't think he should be.
yeah, he's just had really bad luck.
Right. He had to
I mean,
deal
to be
with,
there for like 3 years and have Zach Wilson start for all three, I think.
Yeah.
That's just really bad luck.
Is somebody
bad
putting
luck or
hopefully-
bad decision making? I mean, we can
Yeah.
go in about how bad
Right.
the
Yeah, I don't. It's not
Jets
necessarily that I
GM
like
has
him.
been. So
I just think he's got like the team should be good, you know. So.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it, right? Has anyone wrote
Yeah.
wrote those down in the Excel?
No,
or
but I remember.
I
them.
did not.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go back and we'll.
Because
Well, I'll put
Byron
those down
Murphy
in
Jr.
stone.
for all of them, I believe.
yeah, I think I.
Yeah, Byron Murphy Jr. will win Rookie of the Year in
but
his
the Vikings,
fifth season.
the Vikings guy though, not the rookie.
Yeah,
He'll win them all.
exactly.
He'll win all the rookie awards.
Yes, for the rest of his career. Well, all right, there you have it, folks. That is Hayden's award predictions. Now, getting into the meat and potatoes of this episode, we're going to start with the AFC East. This is a division that's composed of the Bills, Dolphins, Jets, and Patriots. Last year, it was the Bills winning this division with an 11-6 record, followed by the Dolphins, who were 11-6. Jets that were 7-10, and then the Patriots that were 4-13. Let's start off with the Bills. To start, since they are the defending champions, I'm going to put you on the spot, but Tyler, what's your diagnosis of the current Bills situation?
I'm nervous for the Bills. This is kind of stacking up similar to the 2022 Packers season where we lost Devontae and we all just kind of assumed that the Packers would be fine because we had Rodgers. And I feel like the same thing is kind of going on with, Josh Allen right now in this team. There are a couple differences, but this Bills team lost so many key pieces in free agency. I mean, they arguably lost their best receiver. Well, did lose their best receiver, but Diggs had his own problems at the end of the year and was getting pretty close to being a net negative for the team on offense. And it's a pretty mundane offense. the new coordinator loves to run the ball, and the X factor is Josh Allen. He can make good things happen, no matter the situation around him, I think. But I fear that we have to temper expectations a little bit for this Bills team, especially because last year, they were the 6th highest scoring offense and the 4th best defense, allowing the 4th least amount of points. So I could see those declining quite a few tiers here this upcoming season. So I definitely wouldn't have them winning this division. Yeah, I think it's in the realm of possibility that they miss the playoffs this year for sure.
Yeah, I think because you mentioned it's a really big like question mark about who the receivers are going to be, but I think you look at how that offense was operating at the end of the season when they were actually winning more games than they were at the start of the season, and it was an offense that ran through James Cook, and they really only threw when they needed to, and it was Diggs wasn't really in the equation at all. And sure, they lost Gabe Davis, but he really wasn't doing anything at all for them anyways. So I
think
there's
Davis,
definitely room for like concern, but I do think that they can operate similarly and get like the same 10-win season. So I think I still like them overall.
Yeah.
You were gonna say something?
I was just gonna chime in. I think I think Davis, like, I agree with you guys saying they're gonna like fall off this year too, because I think Davis did play like a little hidden gem in that offense where like a lot of their bigger games, it seemed like he was getting, it was hit or miss for him. Obviously, he'd either do nothing or he'd have like a 2-touchdown game. It felt like.
Yeah,
I felt like he was kind of that clutch guy for him when they needed him. But I know what you mean when you say they didn't really do too much in the grand scheme of their complete.
Yeah,
offense.
I mean, if he wasn't scoring a touchdown, he wasn't doing anything when he was on the field, though.
Yeah,
but
he
I
had
know
like
since
4 games where he had 0 catches and
Right.
0 yards.
I know since
I'm just,
2020, he's got like the most receiving touchdowns, which is just insane to think about. But I don't know if I would want a guy who is so inconsistent like that to begin with. So
I'm just saying, like, you take away a couple of those games where he scored 2 touchdowns last year, and the Bills are probably a 500 team.
Right.
So, like,
And,
I
they
agree
were-
with what you're saying.
they
Like,
were
they're gonna
11-6. Right. They were 11-6 with the 6th best offense points wise and the 4th best defense points wise again. And they went 11-6, and now they're losing these very key pieces. Do you really think that I think they got worse, so that means 9-8.
That's what I got them at.
Right. So I have them 3rd in this division. What about you, Decker?
First off, I might just be a little bit more high on them still.
Yeah.
I got them at 10-7, so only one more win than you guys have them. But I still like if all goes right, and I know it's a lot to ask, but like if James Cook can take a big step, if like Keon Coleman can come in as like an impactful rookie, and like Dalton Kincaid takes a bigger step, and like if like the young guys in the secondary, because they did basically just lose their entire starting secondary from last year, but like Cole Bishop and Khair Elam, like some young guys, young rookies to second-year players can step up as well. Maybe the offense can do enough in like the games. I mean, like I think like the primetime games they're gonna have, like I think they play the Chiefs again, maybe like the Texans. Like against those teams, I could see their defense getting really exploited. But maybe with the coaching staff and with Josh Allen carrying them, they can get to at least 10 wins and kind of cover up for that defense.
Yeah, I still honestly, because I agree with you there. I do think that the offense is going to be very much run first next year. So I think that since that worked really well for them in the back half when they changed coordinators, I still think that the Bills could win this division. Yes, because secondary is a really big question mark, but I think the offense can still be good enough where that'll, and it's a division that I think it'll be really close, but I think that they can still win the whole thing, and that's where I have them finishing is first within this division.
Hot take, dude. I don't think many are gonna agree with that.
Yeah. I just think that the Jets and the Dolphins took steps this offseason to surpass the Bills because the Bills took steps back.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
negative.
Like I don't know if they'll be able to run the ball as well this year as they were last year because I don't know. I don't think James Cook is that spectacular. He's a little small. He's not the fastest, and they lost Mitch Morse, their center, in the off season, and you need a good center for a good rushing attack up the middle. So I would be worried to put the weight of the rushing attack on James Cook. So, but I still do like their young skill positions with Shakir, Kincaid, and Coleman. I think they could definitely do some damage.
Yeah, because you mentioned that like the Jets and the Dolphins, they took steps forward. Jets, I think they definitely did the very least steps forward, being that they're going to have a quarterback who's going to be much better than Zach Wilson. I think my biggest concern with like the Dolphins going into next year was something that was a big storyline last year was their struggles against teams that had the winning records. They
let's talk about the Dolphins now.
We'll jump to the Dolphins because they also finished 11-6 last season.
Mm-hmm.
Based on ESPN, it looks like they had the first ranked offense in the league last year, along with the 10th ranked defense. Something I just mentioned was that they struggled against winning teams last year. I think it was they'd lost like 7 or 8 games in a row, and then they got blown out during that first game in the playoffs against the Chiefs. Something that's worth mentioning is that they added OBJ. That's something that everyone always talks about.
That is not worth mentioning.
I think it is. Everyone always wants to know where he is.
He's not going to
That's
see
a
the
big thing
field.
everyone always
Bro
talks
is so
about.
washed. It does
They
not
got
matter.
That's
Waddle.
always a big storyline. What do you mean?
They got Waddle and Reek, bro. He's not going to see the
I
field.
think,
Unless they get hurt.
I mean, he'll be a third, cause he'll be a third receiver
Nah.
during those
Maybe
3
Barrios
sets.
plays with
Nah,
him or something.
Jonnu Smith.
They love running with
incoming
multiple running
insane
backs.
season. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't
So
know.
let's just talk about this Miami offense because obviously they signed Tua to a massive extension, and
huge.
I personally think he limits this offense. He definitely puts a ceiling on this offense.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I would
and,
agree.
and thank God, McDonald is as good of a head coach as he is, especially like
McDaniels.
God, I always say that. McDaniels, excuse me, thank you. Thank God he's as good of a play designer and play caller as he is because, Tua is so good at 1, 2, 3 ball out. So that play design, that's what Tua is good at. Tua is horrible at improvising and just getting the ball downfield, and that's what this team wants to do with the 2 speedsters. So I still have concerns about the offensive line. I'm not too concerned about Tua's injuries anymore. It was kind of a freak accident for the concussions to reoccur, but I would definitely say they might lean on their rushing attack more than we think this year. Even though they paid
especially
Tua.
with A-Chain maybe playing a little more often this year.
But one more thing, I think that they also have they have a solid defense. They still got Jalen Ramsey, who has taken a step back, but they signed Poyer this offseason. A decent
that was a big sign.
veteran safety, and Javon Holland back there is also pretty well. So the secondary is good, and I think the biggest thing, their pass rush last year was very good, but Chubb and
Phillips.
I'm blanking on his name now.
Jalen Phillips.
Phillips were both very, very productive. So that opens the door for Chop Robinson, the rookie, to make a dent, hopefully, when the year starts. So we'll have to see.
Yeah. I guess Because there's a lot of really good points. You know, the offense should be probably the same, if not better, and the defense should be just as good. It's just, yeah, I guess I get so caught up on the fact that it was the whole winning record things are beating up on bad teams. I think that's just my really big concern is do you guys think that they'll be able to win more of those games next year?
I mean, I don't think it really. I don't think it really matters. They beat the bad teams. That they
but
did
do they
what
play
they
more good teams than they do bad teams?
I mean, I would assume not. I mean, I would say they probably play more middle of the road teams. I mean, every game for them is winnable with this offense, and if this defense
I think
plays. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think they also have one of the better like home field advantages too, especially earlier in the season. Like I think I have them winning the division, tied with the Jets at 11-6. They just have a tiebreaker. But I think they just rack up a bunch of wins early in the season, like last year, and then like Sam said, like playing tougher teams or even just playing on the road in the cold. I know Tua struggles with that. The whole team kind of does, just because you're so used to Miami. So I think they rack up a lot of wins early, kind of like they did last year. I think they started 4-0 last year, something like that. So they do have a good home field advantage, just like that temperature difference that they put the other team in. Like a lot of teams can't hang with that towards the end of the game. So
yeah.
But I agree. I don't think I think their record 11-6 is kind of little. It's higher than it. Or what am I trying to say? It inflates them a little bit. Like I don't think they're an 11-6 team. They just have that home field advantage and Mike McDaniels is he knows how to use those offensive weapons to win.
Yeah. I just disagree with the they lose to the good teams and how many good teams they play. I mean I don't know how many teams you have with over we'll say 10 or 11 wins in your record predictions if you would consider those good teams. I mean, I definitely don't have half the league winning 10 or 11 or 12 games. So,
Yeah, wasn't it specifically, though, teams that had winning records? They didn't, they went, it was 1-6 or didn't win any games against teams with winning records. It was all teams 500 or below.
Something like that.
Which, I mean, you're supposed to beat the bad teams, so to play devil's advocate, I know what you mean. Yeah. But, you should also beat some of the better ones, too, to obviously prove yourself. So, if you can't do that, then,
which I think,
then how you
I think that's more of an indicator for how the playoffs will go.
Right,
If you can't beat those good teams, then, end of the regular season, what's your record? So, but to put a bow on it for myself, I have them finishing second in the division.
Yeah, that's just my only really big hang-up, because I'd have to look more specifically into the game-by-game situation. But, for that reason, again, it's very, very close. I have it within, 2 games. I think they're going to finish third in this division this year.
Yeah, I actually got them 9-8, just a win below the Bills, mainly because the thing that really scares me about the team is that pass rush. Because you have Chubb and Phillips both coming off major injuries, late in the year last year, and then losing Christian Wilkins up the middle too, I think is going to be a really big loss. So if there's not much pressure being generated there, I know the secondary's got a lot of playmakers, but still there could be a lot of games you're relying heavily on that secondary to carry the defense.
Yeah, definitely. Well, then moving on, we have the New York Jets. They finished 7-10 last year. They had the 31st ranked offense.
Honestly,
and the third.
I can't remember them winning 7 games. Sorry to cut you off. I was just surprised to hear 7-10.
No, you're good. I knew it was purely off of that.
That defense.
Yeah, that defense. I think they did have one really good game offensively that I remember.
Against the Eagles.
Who was against.
I think they beat the Eagles.
I think that's right.
We were watching a movie that night, dude. We missed that Sunday night football game. And it turns out the Jets won.
It was going to be awful.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it was not fun to watch if the Jets won.
Yeah, Zach Wilson played quite well, I think. Yeah. But, so it was 31st ranked offense, 3rd ranked defense. You got Rodgers back. He played 4 snaps, but he's back. They brought in Tyrod Taylor as a solid backup in case, the unthinkable happens again. And, of course, the defense is really good. They added Hassan Reddick. I mean, if he even plays, because that's a whole can of worms that they're currently dealing with, having just traded for him. And the biggest question mark is the O-line going into this season. But they added was Tyron Smith in free agency to be that left tackle. So hopefully that'll fix some of the problems. But I think I want to preface before I send it off to you guys. Let's assume that for this record prediction or this ranking prediction, that Rodgers will play the full season. If that happens, it's impossible to say.
Yeah.
We'll just assume full season. What do you guys think?
That's how I've been looking at it.
Should be a really good team.
You can't really predict injuries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, this should be a really good team because
I agree.
Rodgers is even at 40 coming off an Achilles injury is 10 times better than Zach Wilson would be starting for you. Mm-hmm. So I'm still not Brees is a top 5 running back, but the receiving core as a whole still kind of a little shaky. Garrett Wilson's a stud, but again, you're going to have to bank on Mike Williams playing a lot, which hasn't really proven he can do in his NFL career. The defense should obviously be really good, no matter how bad a Jets team's been in the past couple of years. The defense with Salah is always going to be solid. Like you said, Sam, Hassan Reddick comes in there, but I don't think he's even going to suit up for them in a game. What it sounds like, because that was just a really weird move to begin with, because you let a young stud pass rusher in Bryce Huff go, who's 26, 27, and then you replace him with a 30-year-old guy who might not even suit up for you. So that was kind of a weird.
That's just crazy to
off-season
me,
move.
Because I don't understand why he's so upset. So is it money? Is that why?
It's always money, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure it is, but it's I think it's a really good situation, especially with how much the Eagles flamed out last year. I think it's better for Hassan Reddick on the whole.
Right. But yeah, I got him to just finish it off. I got him at a share of first place with the Bills at 10-7. So.
Just the one thing with the Jets, man, that O-line, it's always going to be bad.
Yeah, it's it's a very
just gotta keep Rodgers upright.
Yeah, it's still
keep Brees healthy and Rodgers healthy, then should be fine. But
it's got some good players. It's just this is
you just gotta prove it.
Good players, but again, a lot of injury history too. So
yeah, I mean it's obviously their season was ruined last year because Rodgers gets hurt, and then they assemble some of the most injury-prone players to surround him with, Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith is injured all the time. The past couple of years, he was injured all the time, and he is their starting left tackle. Morgan Moses, their starting right tackle. He's had his fair share of injuries. And then Mike Williams, I don't think he's finished a season his whole career healthy. No, Breece Hall missed a good portion of last year as well. So I still have reservations about this offense, but it was the last ranked offense last year. Last ranked in PFF grades. So even if they get to middle of the road, they can ride this defense. And this defense was the best in the NFL last year. So I think that, if you get competent offensive play just to complement the defense, that's a winning recipe, and so that's why I have the Jets winning the division this year.
Yeah, for a very similar reason, I do think that the Jets will at the very least tie for first, but I do have them finishing second. But if the injuries bug stays in their favor, I think that they could still very much win this division and maybe even make a sizable playoff run. Last but not least, we have the Patriots. They went 4-13 last season. Just a really bad year. I mean, all around. Something that was big news out of camp was that They had their tackle was Christian Barmore. He's out indefinitely with it's blood clots.
Yeah.
Someone who was, which is really unfortunate. Someone who was really, really good for them. One of the only good things that they had, and now he is gone. It's a terrible offense, and there's a couple good pieces on defense, but on the whole, just not a really bad situation.
Yeah.
I think this will be pretty short and sweet, fellas. What are we thinking here?
I would agree. To keep it short and sweet. They're like a toned down version of the Jets, where their offense is going to be bad and their defense is going to be middle of the road, So, I actually really like their defense. I think it's pretty sneaky good with some of their good players, but with the offense and how bad it's going to be, I just don't. That's not a recipe for success. And, losing Barmore that's awful because he was, arguably the best, like you said, the best player on that defense last year. And, he's pretty underrated, so that really sucks for them. Hopefully he can get back to the field soon. I honestly have no idea what the timetable for blood clots is. So.
Yeah, I think that's the whole problem is they have no idea what the timetable could be.
Yeah, that's something that's something that's so serious that it's that first and then football second.
Dude, just put him on blood thinners. I don't get it. Just have him running around.
And then he gets cut and just bleeds out on the field.
No, just dude. No. Every time he leaves the field, just pop one ibuprofen in his mouth, and he'll be fine. That's like what
doctors recommend.
Who's the player that
because his blood's too thin?
Is it Mark Andrews that comes off the field and then gets his glucose checked after every drive or something?
Oh, yeah, he wears that like that, like
right?
little. He wears that little thing for diabetes.
Yeah, and I'm sure they give him like Skittles to get his blood sugar back up. So just give Christian Barmore, an ibuprofen. It looks like a Skittle. Tell him it is a Skittle. He'd love it.
Oh God. Yeah, no, then he'll chew it.
I don't think the issue here is him not wanting to take an ibuprofen. Like a little baby. Like a little baby trying to eat some broccoli, bro.
That ain't a Skittle. I ain't taking that. I don't want that. That ain't a Skittle.
Well, anyway, yeah.
Here comes the airplane.
Yeah, he doesn't believe in modern medicine. He only takes Skittles to clear.
No wonder he has blood
diseases.
Clots.
Hey, Marshawn Lynch did it.
But yeah, I have the Patriots finishing last in this division.
3-14 is what I got.
I had 5 wins for them.
I had 4-13. So.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I think we should just move on.
Yeah.
I would have to agree. Yeah. Jumping over, we have the AFC West. This is a division that's home to the Chiefs, Raiders, Broncos, and Chargers. Last year was the Chiefs winning. Surprise, surprise. They went on to win the Super Bowl. And I think we should start there with the Chiefs, that they were 11-6 last season. According to ESPN, they had the 9th-ranked offense and the 2nd-ranked defense. Something notable is that they added receivers such as Marquise Brown, and the draft they added Xavier Worthy. And so on the defense, they did lose cornerback L'Jarius Sneed to the Titans in a trade. He wanted to get paid, and he got just that. But, yeah, how are we feeling about the reigning champions, guys?
Very good.
Yeah.
I think they're still the kings of this division, and they're going to probably realistically could sweep out these games against the teams they're playing.
Oh, God, definitely.
Because, this defense with Spags is still top-notch. I think even with losing Sneed, and, the offense just added more receivers. So
it's just amazing just how much they can flip-flop between relying on their defense and then relying on their offense and then relying on their defense. Like,
I was just gonna say that. Like, even throughout the season and throughout the years, last year it was mainly just defense that got them all the way there, whereas before it was Mahomes carrying them. So now that they have that defense, it's scary.
Right.
Yeah, they have the offense back now because it's not Kadarius Toney you're throwing to.
Yeah,
now it's
the fastest man
guys
in the
who
world.
will catch. Yeah, fastest man in the world. And No, did you guys see that he's well? I think it was a joke, but that Xavier Worthy's going to boycott Madden because it's a 98 speed.
Yeah, that's tough. I think he's got to just like play one snap and earn that 99. Just they don't believe
Yeah.
it. They don't believe it quite yet.
Yeah, one just long like touchdown bomb, and then he's going to be 99 overall speed.
Yeah.
Which I don't get how he's not already, but that's not something we're going to really dwell on.
But yeah, I think there's a good chance, a really good chance actually, that they three-peat this year.
Yeah, I mean, you hit on it where they lost Ward, but Trent McDuffie is a phenomenal cornerback as well. He's really stepped up these past years, so I think that they will be just fine. And as long as you have Chris Jones to anchor that defense, still, I mean, he's far and away the best defensive lineman in the league now that Donald is gone.
And those
yeah.
those veteran linebackers just fucking never get hurt. Always back there, solid.
I mean, this is
they've also.
I don't know why this reminded me of that, but do you remember Sorensen, Decker, their white safety?
Oh yeah, he was.
Oh,
yeah, he got
yeah.
burned. Just
Remember how
weekly.
bad he was?
Yeah.
That dude, I don't know what reminded me of that, but like,
No, he was bad, but then he would just get like the craziest pick six ever, like once a season it seemed.
Yeah.
Like.
yeah, he got quirked up those times, man. I mean, he was, but no, he got burnt so often.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, a little bit of a side comment, but I have them winning this division, shockingly.
Ooh, God, that's a hot take. I kind of have them finishing last.
Not funny.
You got Bo Nix going to the Super Bowl, dude.
Yeah, and Sean Payton proves the haters wrong. He just commits 16 more bounty gates and then wins the Super Bowl.
Did you say Knits?
Yes, I misspoke. Oh, but
Knits.
yeah, no, I have. Okay, Chiefs are finishing first.
Yeah.
Hayden, Chiefs first.
Chiefs first, 11-6, 6-0 in the division. But I think they always kind of start out kind of slow because they don't give a shit about the preseason. So I think it's that same shit every year where it's like, oh my God, the Chiefs are 2-3. They're gonna not make the playoffs. Like, all right, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I feel like they're gonna because I think they play like the Ravens and the Bills and Bengals early.
Yeah, they
and
do.
they always seem to lose to those guys in the regular season.
Yeah.
And then it's no problem in the playoffs. So I think they will start slow, but
And then they're like the best team
Yeah.
in the world in like December and November.
exactly. Yeah, Decker, you got Chiefs first.
Yeah, 12-5.
All right, great. Well, let's move on to the Raiders. They finished 8-9 last season. They brought in Antonio Pierce during the back half of the year to be their head coach, and they actually, with Antonio Pierce, they went 5-4 with him as the head coach. And so, according to ESPN, they had the 27th ranked offense along with the 15th ranked defense. There's a little bit of a quarterback battle you got between Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. Currently, Aiden O'Connell is favored to be the starter, which is insane to
That's
me.
wild, dude.
Yeah.
I'd rather see Michael or Pierce out there playing quarterback than fucking Aiden O'Connell.
I mean, honestly, like, it's... Because doesn't he come from, like, a Division II school or something, Aiden O'Connell? It's kind of crazy that
Oh
he's...
my God,
he's-
non-ball
No.
knower Sam Wontok, Aiden O'Connell, Purdue legend,
Yeah.
Oh.
Purdue
for
legend.
one
I know,
Aiden
I don't
O'Connell.
watch college. I do not watch college. Sorry about that. Well, anyways, no Josh Jacobs. He's gone. He went to the Packers.
Yippee!
But they have... Yep, Tyler's very happy about that. But they have Zamir White and Alexander Madison. If you want touchdowns, you better keep Zamir White in.
Yeah. Good luck.
The defense, from what I saw, was relatively unchanged, but it should figure to be the Max Crosby show all over again, most likely. So, yeah, fellas, how are we feeling about the Raiders this year?
I got them at 8 and
not-
9 again. I think they
8-9?
Yeah,
Really?
You got them winning 8 games.
I think they
Oh my
could
God.
because
Who's gonna be throwing the football? O'Connell? Or you think
Well,
Minshew takes over?
if Minshew does take over, and I
Which
know
he
we
should.
I
I
know
agree.
we've talked about this before, specifically with Sam, but like I still think Gardner Minshew is a top 32 quarterback in this league.
He's a dog.
That-
I would agree.
Well, yeah,
that
he's
should
startable.
start. But, last year with the Colts, he was able to get them to,
Yeah, he's
week
got that
18
clutch gene.
and being able to get one win away from the playoffs. So to muster out 8 wins, I don't think is too much of a reach. Myself thinking that, because I still like this defense. You had Christian Wilkins next to Max Crosby, and
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of pressure generated there. And Pierce is he gets the players going. So I could see 8 wins.
I think that's just really my biggest concern is I feel like coaches like Antonio Pierce, somehow his momentum went way longer than most do, but I feel like he's someone who was the guy who was the coach for the Colts during the back half of
Steichen.
He's a Josh Dobbs
No.
type beat.
Yeah, what was that? No, it was a lineman. Jeff Saturday.
Saturday. Jeff
Yeah,
Saturday
because it was
reference.
Jeff Saturday. Didn't they win
Damn, that's a low
the
comparison,
first
man.
2 games, and they thought oh hey,
No, Jeff Saturday.
Jeff
And then,
Saturday's
they,
actually-
and then they gave up the biggest lead in
Yeah,
NFL
the biggest
history.
comeback, and I think that was his only
Yeah.
game that he played, or that he started,
Yeah.
that he coached. I don't think it
Yeah, I
was
guess
2
my-
wins.
I thought he coached the whole back half of that
Yeah,
season.
I thought so, too.
Pretty
That's
sure,
what,
pretty
that's
sure
what
it
I
was the
thought.
second
But
half.
Oh,
But
was it?
anyways,
yeah,
I agree.
I didn't get my point out. Gosh darn it! Everyone keeps distracting.
Hurry up, dog.
Anyways, well, okay. I think it's going to be similar, where somehow Antonio Pierce's momentum went way further than most of these interim coaches do. But I think what tends to happen is that these interim coaches, they do eventually get outcoached, and I feel like that's what we're going to see from Pierce this season. I think he's going to get severely outcoached to just week 1 onward. Bad enough where maybe he'll get fired midway through a season. I'm not sure. I'm not too high on this team overall, and I think I have them finishing 3rd in this division.
Yeah, I have them finishing 3rd. Okay, Shane Steichen really helped Gardner Minshew along with Michael Pittman, just kind of letting him feed the ball to him. And in a way, Devonta Adams will be the same. But, I think that, Pierce is similar to Freddie Kitchens in a way where he kind of got some steam going into the later half of the year. He stepped in and then just totally blew it come the next year's regular season. So I don't particularly see him as a great coach. I think he's more of a rah-rah guy, but just worse than the typical Dan Campbell-esque. So I have them finishing 3rd in this division as well. So
Yeah. Hayden, what's your thoughts?
I got him at 3rd at 4 and 13. I do.
Wait, 3rd at 4 and 13? What do you got the Broncos?
why do you think it's the
2
Broncos?
2 and 15. It is
Jesus.
the Broncos.
Because I know.
Because
Hayden.
the
I know you hate
Broncos.
Sean Payton.
No, it is. I do hate him. But
No, you can share your thoughts here. We'll
they
just
just don't
transition
have a
quick over
fucking
to
offense,
the
bro.
Broncos. Yeah, which is true point.
They got my UW Whitewater boy, though. Hell yeah. signed
This
him.
is true.
Yeah.
Because it is one of my notes on here. Because the Broncos, they went 8-9 last season as well. I
Miracle.
don't know if these numbers are right, but the ESPN stat sheet said that they're the 26th ranked offense as well as the 29th ranked defense. That just
The
doesn't
defense,
sound right, but
I believe, because of that one outlier Dolphins game. I knew that
oh,
threw everything off.
right. Yeah, that's
So I do believe that. That's like a whole another game that they played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If only there was some kind of advanced stats database that you could look this up and check with. I don't know.
Well, I'm not giving you $10, Tyler.
Loser. Fine, you can
yep.
sound dumb
Well,
on
they-
the podcast then.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
Well, they-
give you
well-
$10.
well, ESPN is free, so I like that. Well, they did draft Bo Nix. Was it 12th overall?
11th. Right.
Bum.
11th.
Bum.
Yep.
Boom.
Yeah, he's projected to be the starter, but yeah, I don't, because we're gonna do it later.
Let's just keep it short and sweet with the Broncos. We all think that they're gonna suck and finish last. Just keep it short.
That's true. I guess
Their
I do
offensive,
think that,
their
yeah.
offensive players suck. Besides their O-line, their O-line is sick as hell with Quinn Miners.
Let's go. Yeah.
But they
got
have no
paid.
weapons. Cortland Sutton's old now. All of a sudden, their
He
running
was-
backs are
He was a dog last year, though. Like, I'll give him that. He
all
had a
those
good.
touchdowns.
He was clutch.
The only thing that could save them is if Sean Payton somehow becomes an amazing coach again, which
Right.
I don't know. And then this defense, God, name anybody outside of Pat Surtain on this defense. I dare you.
Jonesy Jewel.
No, you can't.
Really?
You can't.
Is he not there
I
anymore?
just looked at the depth
No,
chart
I
too,
don't
and I
think-
forgot what
I don't
it was.
think Jewel is on the team anymore.
Damn.
Yeah, no, he's not. I'm looking at the depth chart
Yeah.
now as well.
So
Was he
You know,
there
it-
last year, or am I stupid?
Singleton, Browning, yeah. So they just don't have any star talent on this defense, and I just
Yeah.
I have them finishing last. I think we should just keep it short and sweet with them and the
Yeah.
Chargers, honestly.
Yeah.
For
Yeah, that's
time's
fair.
sake.
I have them.
Yeah, that's for me
Yeah,
as well.
that's true. Yeah. Yeah, well, then Chargers, they went 5-12 last season, but that was just sort of a whole coaching debacle there. They lost Keenan Allen, brought in Ladd McConkey, but they also brought in Mr. Jim Harbaugh. He's in town. He's fresh off of a national championship win. Personally, I think that's enough to honestly put this team into second place. I think there's enough talent around it where if the coaching isn't terrible, they can get second place in this division.
Yeah.
I would agree. Yeah, I just
I don't think it's
obviously
not
they're going to
gonna
want to
take
run the
much.
ball a boatload, and when they do have to pass the ball, obviously we know Herbert is a good enough, great enough quarterback to get the ball
he's a
where it
good
needs to
quarterback.
be. Obviously, we worry about their skill positions, but a great quarterback can throw guys open, and I think the offense will be fine. I think the defense will be pretty bottom tier, but I still have them second in this division as well. So
I would agree. Decker?
Yeah, like the Harbaugh and Herbert combo should be really, really good, in my opinion. But like you guys were just touching on, I think the defense is just going to be so rough. Where like no matter how good Harbaugh is, and you bring in your DC from college as well, and Jesse Minter, it's just this is a different game than college, and you really don't have much talent as of right now. So yeah, I got him at 6-11. I got him tied for last as well.
agreed.
Oh. Yeah. Well, okay. Moving on, we're going on to the AFC South. This division comprised of the Texans, Colts, Jaguars, and Titans. We'll start it off with the Texans. They were the surprise of the league last year. I think that's very fair to say. They went 10-7 last season. And they're building off their great offense and great defense. They were some big spenders in free agency. They brought in Stephon Diggs, Joe Mixon, and Danielle Hunter, three really big star names in the league. And I'll be pretty quick with this
They
one.
actually traded for Joe Mixon.
Well, you know what I mean. They still brought him in. I don't think I said signed. Did I say signed?
In free agency. They traded for him.
Oh, sorry.
You were
Sorry,
implying it.
sorry.
You
No,
implied it.
I didn't know that I had the fact checker supreme over here.
You implied
Well,
it.
anyways, I'm going to keep it short. I think it's a great offense and great defense that both should be even better this year. I do worry about really high expectations making them a little bit slow out the gate. I don't think they're going to win as many games as some people might think they're going to win, but I still think that they can win this division with 10 or 11 wins. I think they're going to get first.
Yeah. I'll keep it short and sweet. I would agree with everything you said. I am a little worried about their secondary outside of Singletary. Kamari Lassiter, the rookie, is going to be the opposite cornerback. So, and then,
Just double check. I think you meant to say Stingley.
what did I say?
You said Singletary.
Fudge!
Ha. Get dunked on.
I'm sorry. Stingley is good. Lassiter,
Yeah.
who knows? But I also agree that I think that they could win this division. But this is where my hot take will come in. I have them finishing second in this division.
Ooh.
Okay.
To who?
We'll see.
Well, all right. Decker, what are you thinking?
As we kind of touched on in the first episode with my Stroud MVP pick, I have him in first place. I got him at 12-5. I said in the last episode, I don't think Stroud's going to have a sophomore slump. Really, really like the receiving core, all the playmakers around him. And the defense, I think the edge rushers, I think the pressure is going to be really good with Anderson and Hunter. Secondary, outside of Stingley, and I do like Jalen Petrie as well as a safety. But, Lassiter being a rookie, and then you're taking flyers on a guy like Jeff Okuda and like C.J. Henderson, who were former high busts. So, that could come back and bite you. But I still think the Texans are going to have a really solid year.
Yeah. Hayden.
Yeah, I got the Texans barely winning the division. It was by one game at 12-5.
Ooh.
So I agree with what you guys are saying. Like, they're just that team where as long as their defense is average to above average, like that offense is going to just carry them throughout the year. Like their schedule isn't that hard. Their division, it really isn't too tricky. Like, I mean, the Colts obviously, they're young and talented, and they were looking promising last year, even without their star young quarterback Richardson. So like, if he can stay healthy, obviously they're dangerous. But like, obviously I don't trust the Titans. They haven't really shown much in a while, so I got to see them play well before I'll give them any credit. And then the
Well,
Jets.
Hayden, you don't want to jump ahead too
Yeah,
far.
Oh,
Holy
sorry.
cow.
What the heck are you doing?
Bro,
we're on the
we're on the
Texans here.
Texans, yeah.
Well, I was just explaining.
My
I was
gosh.
explaining why the division was kind of. I was backing my point. You're right. Sorry. Didn't mean to
We'll
jump
get
ahead.
there
I
Is
just-
this
when
your
we get
first
there.
podcast, dog.
My gosh, dude. Actually, it isn't. It's his second episode. So, frankly, lack of professionalism.
Well, first
here.
under this name.
Oh yeah.
I believe he
True.
Well,
went
I
by a
think
name.
nah. You guys named you. It slipped out in the last one too.
Oh yeah, I did name drop you. I do remember that.
But
Well, anyways,
Hayden,
I never
formerly
cared.
known as Dr. Fade. So
Yeah, no longer post on there. I just look at memes on Twitter.
oh man.
all right.
Well, moving on, we have what I believe is who some of you fellas have. I'm actually finishing first. It is the Colts. They were 9-8 last season. As I mentioned previously, this was a team that had Gardner Minshew starting for most of the season because it was Anthony Richardson was injured, but now he is back for his second season, hopefully his first full season. And so what are we thinking here, fellas?
I got him in second, which is I think that's a pretty safe pick to assume. I think Richardson should come back hopefully just fine with a long recovery process from the shoulder injury early in the year last year. And then the playmakers, with JT, and I think the trio of Downs, Pittman, and Adonai Mitchell is going to be a really big time problem for defenses. Mm-hmm. And then the defense for the Colts should be solid enough. I know, like, last week we were talking about the possibility of Samson Ebukam playing over Leatu Latu, and now Ebukam goes down with the torn ACL, so Latu has a clear path to a starting job. So
Yeah. I mean, obviously that's good for Leatu's defensive rookie of the year, but I mean, I would say overall that's not great for the team, especially to lose a depth piece at edge. So,
Yeah.
But yes, that is a great sign for Leatu.
Yeah.
Personally.
But yeah, 10-7.
Yeah,
10-7. I got 10-7. I got him at, I should say.
Yeah. because I'd echo a lot of things that you kind of said already, so I'm going to get mine out of the way. Because I had them second as well. I think they have a great run game of Jonathan Taylor, great receivers, as you mentioned. It's a solid front seven as well, and obviously Shane Steichen's proven that he's a good coach in this league. So there is certainly a very good chance they could win this division, but I do have them finishing second. Tyler, I think you should go next since I have a feeling I know what you're going to say.
Yeah. I mean, I have them winning this division, and I just comparing them with the Texans. In my opinion, the quarterback, it's obviously I would give the edge to CJ Stroud, but I think it's a lot closer than people would maybe give it at a glance just because of Richard's injury. And, he did have some problems with accuracy last season, but if they fix some technique, that can be cleared up, much like how Josh Allen cleared up his technique and his accuracy, especially deep ball accuracy, improved greatly. The skill positions, much like the Texans, is very good. Yet I would still probably say a step down. But with
They have a lot easier
rushing
schedule.
Yeah, with a rushing quarterback and a very solid offensive line, I think that these offenses could produce at the same level. And then when we talk about defense, it's a lot of the same. A very, very strong defensive line. DeForest Buckner, maybe one of the most underrated defensive players in the league. They have, some holes at secondary, but I think a better linebacking core. So, it's a lot of give and take with these two teams. I think that I think that it's just going to be a toss-up at the end of the season. And I think just for a little bit of a hot take, I think I'm going to pick the Colts to finish a little stronger than the Texans. So I have them winning it.
Well, all right. I think that's certainly possible. Hayden, what is your thoughts?
Oh, well, I mean, I'll go over it quick again. I kind of already mentioned it. Just I have them getting second in the division by one game. I have them going 11-6. I agree with what Tyler's saying with Anthony Richardson. Before last season's draft, I was hyped. I thought the Vikings had a chance to trade up and get him, dude. I was getting hyped. I watched a lot of the tape, bro. He's a dog. If he could stay healthy. That's the thing, if he can stay healthy. So, but yeah, he's got the weapons around him, obviously.
Four locos if we drafted Richardson.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. I was a little happy that we didn't get him for that reason.
Fake fan.
All right. Well, moving on, we have the Jaguars. They also finished 9-8 last season, but I think they got third due to tiebreaker, or is it second? I forgot.
No, they got third.
I don't remember. They got third. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Something that's really important to mention, I think, was that they started the season 8-3, and they finished 9-8. Oh, the only win during that back half coming against the Panthers, who were absolutely abysmal last year. There was the Calvin Ridley experiment. That's over. We all thought he was going to be huge for them. He was not, but they've signed Gabe Davis and they drafted Brian Thomas Jr. But yeah, I think this is one of the toughest teams for me personally. So I'm curious to hear what you guys are thinking.
I just want to start this out by saying that I predicted that Christian Kirk would have a better season than Calvin Ridley. While that did not happen, it was very, very, very close. So I'm going to take that as a dub. I think people were a little overestimating someone not being able to play football for like a year and a half and then coming back and just kind of dominating. With Calvin Ridley. So obviously it took some time, and this offense is so tough. They now have the touchdown machine Gabe Davis at wide receiver. So I mean, God, it's a tough offense. They have a pretty rough offensive line, in my opinion. But I would say that they have good skill positions. They got the quarterback. I think Trevor is a very good quarterback, even though some of the numbers might not say it. And then this defense, again, it's like they have the right guys in some pretty key spots. I mean, they have the edge rusher. They have good guys at cornerback and good guys at linebacker. Safeties, you could maybe ask for a little bit more, especially with Darnell Savage starting back there. I think it's going to be a tough division. I think that this will be one of the more competitive ones. Um, I was very high on Doug Peterson when they got this job, but ever since he got it, I've kind of started to, you know, like him a lot less, and I personally think that his seat's getting a little warm here in Jacksonville.
Yeah. No,
So
I would have to agree with that.
he's
yeah.
got to have a pretty good season here. So, but yeah, they just have a weird team. I don't know a whole lot to think about it. They got the guys where they need to be. They did last year, and they just weren't able to perform. I will say, adding Eric Armstead on that defensive line will be a very big boost, especially to the development of Walker. They're now third year edge rusher, so
Yeah.
I think that'll be a very big plus. So yeah, but yeah, I have them finishing third.
Yeah, that was sort of the thing that was tough for me, was what you mentioned about Doug Peterson. It's something that with like the Eagles, because they won that Super Bowl and then they seemed to just get worse and worse, and then they brought in Nick Sirianni, and then they got really, really good again. You know, so I almost wonder if it's a roster that's really good, and then it's a coaching problem almost, and I think that's why this could certainly bite me really hard. But I have the Jaguars finishing last with 7 to 8 wins.
Wow, you got the Titans winning more.
I think it's going to be, cause we'll get to that when we get there. But yeah, I think it's going to be a competitive division for sure. We're really, really close. And so yeah, I have the Jaguars finishing last, just because I think that there is a really big coaching concern there, cause it's talent that just isn't performing.
Yeah, I'm actually in the same boat as you, Sam. I got the Jaguars in last as well. And I just want to make it clear, this is like no indication on the talent that this roster has. It's just I think, like you guys were mentioning before, this division has just gotten so much better with Texans and Colts. And then just based off their schedule this year too, like you got to play at Miami, at Buffalo, you get the Packers, you're at Philly, at Detroit, play the Jets late in the year. It's like the division on top of the other teams they're playing this year is just, I think it's going to be really tough for them. And to go off your point, Tyler, with Peterson, I don't think he gets fired this year, but I think that, like you said, that seat's going to be really warm at the end of the year. And if it doesn't, if 2025 doesn't start good, I think he could be a midseason firing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And going back to the talent thing, I think it's important to add, there were so many touchdowns that non-touchdowns that Trevor Lawrence threw last year that were literally inches away from a wide receiver's hands, and they just weren't able to reach up and grab it. So I'm very high on Trevor Lawrence. I think getting a guy like Gabe Davis, who is, like we've mentioned, a touchdown machine, a guy like, Brian Thomas Jr. In there, and a guy who can get up and get it. And then you have that reliable slot guy in Christian Kirk, not to mention a very good pass-catching running back and tight end. So, I think you got to get the right guys in the right positions here finally, and I think this offense could take a step. But yeah, I'm going back to it. I'm worried about the play calling with Doug Peterson. So.
Yep. Hayden, did you say your piece yet? I can't remember. I'm sorry.
I don't think so, but I got Jags. Hold on. I think it's 7-10. Yeah, 7-10.
Third.
And they're third?
Third, yeah, sorry.
Oh, wow. Okay. But yeah, and then so in the last division we have the Titans. They went 6-11 last season. Mike Vrabel, he was booted out the door. They brought in Brian Callahan, who was the Bengals offensive coordinator. And yeah, and I guess another notable news is that Derrick Henry's out. He's now with the Ravens, and they brought in Tony Pollard. They gave him a good chunk of change to join, and they drafted J.C. Latham, 5th overall. Definitely a very needed position for them. So yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna start my piece just because I don't have really much to say. But the reason why I have them finishing third is that I really like what they have going on, but it definitely very much hinges upon Will Levis's performance. Since they gave him just a great room of weapons, you have two great pass-catching running backs out of Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears. I don't think either one is going to be bell cow work, but in terms of a room, it's solid. You got Calvin Ridley, who because he didn't reach his ceiling that was expected with the Jaguars, but I still think he can be really good for them. DeAndre Hopkins isn't the same star he was, but as a wide receiver too, he's really good. You bring in Tyler Boyd, someone that Brian Callahan is really familiar with. I think he's a great 3 for them. And Okonkwo was, I think he had good stats last year from what I remember. And there's great pieces on the defense. They brought in L'Jarius Sneed, who's the top corner in the league. You got Jeffrey. He's one of the top. He's not the top. Stifle your laughs, young man.
I think Chig had a good season. I don't know.
I think he did, didn't he? Like he for a
No.
not. No, he had good, solid. He played fine. That's all I'm saying. He doesn't have to be a Travis Kelce. He played fine.
What is fine? What?
Well, then I don't know. He had I don't remember what he had anymore. I thought I had it written down. Sorry. Okay, 1 second.
I mean, sure, he wasn't missing block. I mean, I don't think he's anything special there. I like him. He's super athletic. He just hasn't been able to put it together. But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just love. Can
Okay,
you
well
say
now
Okonkwo again?
Yeah, it's Chigoziem Okonkwo, right?
Yeah. That was
Oh, it's Okonkwo. My bad. Yeah, there we go. Hey, he had, it's 54 catches, 528 yards. That is a solid tight end stat line for a guy who is not getting paid to be a Travis Kelce. I would say that I was on the money with my assessment. So I know he's okay. And then you got guys on the defense like Jeffrey Simmons. They brought in Devondre Sweat in the draft. You have Sneed, who is a top corner. I think it's a good group on defense, a really good group on offense. It does hinge on Will Levis, but that's why I do think that it's a team that can win 8 to 9 games, more likely 8. But yeah, I think they're going to finish third within this division. Tyler, Mr. Giggles, want to say your piece?
I suppose I can. I think that their offensive line is going to be very bad again. I don't think adding J.C. Latham... I like J.C. Latham as a prospect. I think he's got some way to go before he's, a very high caliber starting left tackle. But, they still have Petit Ferrer starting on the right side. And Petit Ferrer is awful. They had Cushenberry, who's a decent center. I worry about Skoronski still at guard. So, this offensive line makes me nervous. The one thing that I will say is Levis isn't afraid to stand in that pocket and rip it. And that's probably going to be this offense's saving grace. if he's able to stay upright this whole season. And, you know, I think Callahan will be able to help out with that. And with Callahan comes his dad. I think his name is Bill. Coming over from the Browns. He was the Browns offensive line coach, and look at how good they have been the last couple seasons. So
That's a good point.
I think that's very good for these young linemen. They're, starting their career, their growth. But this defense still worries me, even with the additions. I mean, I like the cornerbacks of Awuzie and Sneed, but Jamal Adams just doesn't move me as a coverage safety anymore. I think he does
No, he
need to be.
shouldn't.
I think he needs to be moved into the box full time. But Jeffrey Simmons is a beast. He's one of those defensive linemen that flies under the radar just because they don't put up crazy stats. But I guess he was injured last year too, and I'm interested to see how Sweat fits into this defensive line, because right now they have Jonathan Joseph Day starting, and he's a bum. So I think Sweat could start, and he's a big boy, and they were like one of the worst teams against the runs last year, so he needs to fill that pretty quickly. So I have them finishing last though.
Yeah, that's fair. It's definitely a toss-up between the Jaguars and the Titans. Yeah, for me, based on how that's going to go. Hayden, what are you thinking there?
I got them last, at 4-13. I do think they have a good offense to work with. I think it's just I don't think there's any chance that all of these guys can build this chemistry that quickly and put together a winning season. I think it's there for the future potentially if they do well enough this year not to just trash it all. I feel like they keep doing. But no, yeah, I got them at 4-13. They have a tough schedule. I was looking at their schedule, and they have to play the Jets, the Packers, the Dolphins, the Bills, the Lions, the Texans twice, the Bengals, the Colts twice. There's a lot of above average teams on that list. So
I think
that record might be a
that's
little deflated. They might be better than that record, but that's
I
kind
think
of
that
where
they
I
could-
picked them at.
I think that they'll be one of those teams to kind of play spoiler to some next year.
Yeah.
I think they'll be a good trap game team next year. But yeah, Dak, do you have anything?
Yeah,
to add?
Decker?
Yeah, I'll keep it pretty short because I know we're kind of running high on time. But yeah, I got them in third place. I got them at 9-8. I'm probably a little higher than some people on them, but like you guys were saying, it's gonna be really big on how Levis plays in his sophomore year. But yeah, I like Callahan as a coach. I know Vrabel was really respected, but Callahan coming in, he's had success with an offense. Yeah, you don't got Burrow and Chase and Higgins, but I think like you said, Tyler, I think they're gonna be a good trap team, and I think there's gonna be some games where they could just flat out just be the better team a lot of the time. So 9-8, third place, I got them.
All right. Well, last division, we have the AFC North. This was won by the Ravens last year, who we'll start with. They went 13-4 last season. The big news, they brought in Derrick Henry, and some other news was because I know they lost Mike McDonald to the Seattle Seahawks head coaching job, but did they lose their offensive coordinator too?
No, Monken stayed.
Yeah.
Monken State? Okay. So, yeah, they lost her. He was the coordinator who made a great defense last year, but he the offensive coordinator. But, yeah, what are we thinking here?
I'll keep it quick, just because, like we said, we're running out of time. But, they did lose some pieces on defense, mainly being Patrick Queen, being the main one. But I think that this team is still going to be very, very good. I think this is the best secondary in the NFL right now, with Kyle Hamilton at safety and then Humphrey and Williams back there as well. So I think if they can get some pass rush outside of Justin Madubuike, who is a defensive line, he's not a true edge rusher. Obviously, he was super productive last year, but a lot of that was McDonald's scheme. So, they just need to find ways to get to the quarterback a little faster. And then this offense, obviously Lamar, MVP. I think this rushing, they're, once again going to have, like, the best rushing attack. And still waiting to see a wide receiver take a leap, whether that be Flowers or Bateman finally, like we're hearing out of camp. But who knows? So, I have them finishing second in this division, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, you said a lot of things I would have said. Like a receiver needs to be found. I'm for the defense can perform just as well. I think they should get at least close, but they'll need to be as good as they were because they were just really, really good. But I think that they're going to repeat, honestly, and get first again. I just really like that offense with like Lamar, and you bring in Derrick Henry. I think it's going to be very, very good year for them. Decker, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I got them tied for first with the Bengals, but I got the head-to-head over the Bengals for them, so I still have them getting first. Lamar coming off the MVP season should still be very good. Obviously, Monken stays like we just talked about. Henry should, do Henry things and be a big-time factor for them. Receivers, like you were saying, Tyler, is going to be, can Zay kind of keep that up from his rookie year? And does Bateman finally make that jump? You know what you're going to get from Andrews. And yeah, the defense is just so good. Like you take Nate Wiggins in the first round, who will probably come in there just be a stud. And then, I don't know, maybe Eddie Jackson finds a little fountain of youth playing around a bunch of studs. But yeah, 11-6 for me, first place. I think that's a pretty solid prediction.
Yeah.
All right. Hayden, are you back?
Yeah,
I saw we lost you for a second.
Yeah, my computer crashed. It just gave me the smile or the frowny face emoji, and it's like, yeah, we ran into some problems. Like, all right.
Uh-oh.
But I started recording again, so it was at like an hour 14. Was like where it cut off. So if that helps you cut it, I don't know, later, or just leave me out for the rest of it.
Yes, Sam. You can
easier.
figure that out. You're not doing anything.
Well, do you have the rest of it?
Yeah, it's saved.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
It recovered it.
Okay, good. I was gonna say we lost.
Sam was about to fill in for he was just gonna fill in for you. He was gonna dub.
That's on me.
He was gonna be
thinking about
Hayden. Yeah.
I gotta be better.
Yeah.
I gotta prepare
All
my
right.
computer next time. Did we miss Bengals? And did I miss Bengals and Ravens?
No, we just
talked
finishing
about
up Ravens.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I got them at 14-3.
Holy
But-
Nikes.
But in second place in the division. This was a really rushed.
Second place.
It was a very
Oh my
rushed
God.
predictions. I just was going through it very quickly.
I will say,
with
with a good team like the Ravens and the Bengals, when you're doing like week by week
right, yeah,
predictions,
it's hard to
it's so
pick 'em
easy to
lose.
like just pick them every single week.
So like I was
mean,
gonna do
get
a
it.
once over like again and just kind of add in those mix in like spoiler games, but I didn't get time to really do that. So
Yeah.
what I had was 14-3 for the Ravens in second place in the division, which
Yeah.
is
Okay.
wild. But
yeah.
that is a good division, so you know it probably
I
won't be
think-
that high, but you know.
I just cherry on top here. I think losing McDonald is going to be a bigger deal than some people realize, just because he was so good at fitting guys up, whether it be like blitz looks or coverages. So I'm interested to see how that looks with and who they and how they fill in that gap. So
All right.
Yeah, for sure. Browns we have next. They went 11-6 last season. His injuries last year were kind of the name of the game, because they had Joe Flacco, who was a highly contentious figure on this podcast, but yeah, he's gone.
just wait
they're
till we talk
hoping-
about Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson. Well, he's controversial outside of the podcast. I mean, he's back. Nick Chubb will hopefully be back from his giant knee injury. They brought in Jerry Jeudy. I guess that's something that was kind of big that happened. But yeah, really good defense, like top of the league defense and middle of the road offense. I think that they're going to get third in this division. I think they're still going to get about 10 wins, but I don't like Deshaun Watson anymore. Not just because of all the terrible things he's done.
You cursed him, Sam.
But I don't like him as a player. I don't, man.
Yeah.
Texans Watson was special, man.
I agree. I agree with everything you just said. Deshaun Watson is a bum now, man. He is so bad. Like, he literally can't do a single thing he was able to do when he was with the Texans. And the Browns
That's
are stupid
crazy.
and traded all this picks for him and gave him all this guaranteed money. Like, it was awful. And not that they would be better with Flacco. Like, it would be questionable. But you have to figure it would be similar results. And
I think you would argue that they'd be better simply because they're paying Flacco like $1 million compared to like Deshaun Watson getting like half of their cap space.
And again, it's kind of like somebody like a team like the Jets where they have the defense, they just need that quarterback, but the Jets have the quarterback. The Browns don't. And I think this offense is just going to be pretty, not bad, but less than,
Yeah, it's
less than, I'll say middle of the road, especially with Chubb being out, So I just think if you let Watson cook, there's going to be a fire in the kitchen.
Do we know how long Chubb's gonna be out?
I don't
Is there
think
a
he plays
timeline?
this year. Like
No.
it would
You don't
You
think
don't
really?
think all year?
if he does, it won't be worth it. Like he won't be himself.
Yeah,
So
there was a brutal injury.
on the same knee. So it's
Yeah.
I
that thing is not a knee anymore.
I love
Well, I mean, did you see that hype video he had where he squatted like 600 pounds?
let's see
That was
him
pretty
plant.
nuts.
Yeah,
let's
but
see
that's
him
probably-
plant running full speed.
That's probably half what he was doing before that. Honestly, that's probably weak.
Sam, imagine this. Imagine you're running full speed ahead and you plant to turn like 90 degrees to the left. Imagine what would happen to your knee. That same thing would happen to Nick Chubb, and he's an like all-star athlete. And you're
Well, I think you're
Moderately
underestimating the fact that I
athletic.
cannot do that to begin with. So
yes,
run
that's,
full speed.
that's what I'm saying. Oh,
Oh, so you're saying it'd be less tough on your knee then, less wear and tear. So you're
Yeah, no, I'm
you're
just-
saying you're better prepared
built like a
overall for the
brick
NFL than Nick
house,
Chubb
man.
is.
Yeah, no, I think you put me out there that I will never get injured. Simply because I would die
Simply
before I
because
get
you-
injured.
no,
You
it's
can't
because
get
you
the
would
full speed.
just lead with your head, and your head is so big that like people would just bounce right off of it.
Yeah, I'd have like a bunch of DeMar Hamlins on the field before I get injured. So
It's like a battering ram.
exactly. So honestly, no, if you're watching this, Kevin Stefanski, put me at running back.
You know that big hat trend last year that popped up?
Yeah, Brian
Normal hat,
Robinson.
normal
That's
hat
gonna,
on Sam.
yeah, so
Normal-
Sam's gonna
normal
get a
looking hat.
post game interview with Sam Wontalk. So why'd you think to start this big helmet trend? And he's like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my helmet.
This my
This
head.
is my regular helmet. Yeah.
Are you wearing two helmets?
What size was your helmet in high school, Sam? Triple XL?
It was a triple XL, yes.
The biggest they had.
They do not sell them anywhere. You have to get them ordered specifically because people don't buy them.
Custom
Did your head
made.
continue to grow after high school?
I don't believe so. My head was just so big as a child.
Okay.
They thought that there was fluid filling in some side of my skull, but it turns out it was just my head was growing.
I'm glad we're touching this almost an hour and 30 minutes into the pod.
I think it's going to be great to test if people are actually listening.
Yeah. yeah. If
Shout
you're
out-
still listening,
This
get
is-
in the
this
comments.
Is like, this is the premium
Yeah.
part of the episode.
How big do you think Sam's head is? Get in the comments.
Shout out Lance because
Yeah.
he will be
No, the
listening.
amount of likes on this video is my head inches.
Does the head
Let's
match
get it
the
to-
head, the other head? There's a question the
Oh.
fans want to hear.
Oh man.
For all those girls listening, dude. This kid's
Girls don't
packed.
listen.
Yeah. I've looked at demographics. We are not getting women at all.
Shall we talk
I
about the
don't-
Bengals?
I'll
Yeah.
just say one final thing about the
Move on.
Browns, just like
Oh, yeah.
for 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Last
Okay.
place, Deshaun Watson, bona fide scrub. Defense,
Thanks for adding that.
defense
Thanks for
good,
adding that in there.
offense terrible. So last place
Yeah.
for the Browns, I got.
All
And
right.
sorry, real quick, another thing. This defense was literally historic last year. How
Yeah, it
good
was
they were at getting to the
crazy good.
quarterback. Right?
It's only gonna
Historic. And unfortunately, you can only go down from there. So.
Yeah, that's not great either.
Yeah.
But a downgrade from historic is also still like elite. So I know what you mean, but it's still It's still gonna be a good defense.
Yeah, I know.
I think we should actually jump to the Steelers because I think this should be pretty quick, honestly, because they were 10-7 last season,
They will
but
find
they
a
brought
way.
in some new guys at the quarterback position. They got Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. There's talks that Justin Fields might start over Russell Wilson. Who knows? I'm going to be quick. I don't think they're going to be very good, but I will not bet against a Mike Tomlin winning record
There you go.
until I see a losing record. So I have them
Can we just
last 9-8.
raise our hand if we have them at 9-8?
Oh, yeah.
Anybody
Well, I was going to
else?
see our hands raising as a podcast.
Well, but then it
I
would
don't.
at least move on. Okay, never mind.
Yes, Tyler, I saw you have them at 8 and 9.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a hot take, dude.
Like
You
this
really
will
Maybe the
be
hottest
this will be the
one.
year.
Like
This
that?
will be the
Maybe
year.
the hottest take.
This
bro.
will be the year.
That's-
This is arguably the worst quarterback.
Yeah. It's,
I mean, arguably it is the worst quarterback situation that they have had.
I
They've
don't
had
know.
some pretty horrible ones
that's
recently.
true.
I'm
And they
But
still
but
managed to
but
get nine.
but you mix that in with the fact that they brought in Arthur Smith to be OC, right?
That's
Everyone
tough.
on that
Oh!
defense is a year
forgot about
older, right? I still think they're going to be a good team. I just think that they're going to get some like BS luck, especially with the offensive side of the ball. If there's one thing that Russ and Justin Fields love doing, it's turning the damn ball over. So I think this will be the year that streak finally breaks. And if they prove me wrong, they prove me wrong.
Yeah.
But all I know is that whoever the backup tight end is getting 10 touchdowns. Washington is getting
Washington.
10 touchdowns.
Yeah, draft them in fantasy, guys. It's guaranteed.
Not just a
First
blocker.
round, Tim. Okay.
Okay.
Bengals.
Bengals. All right. Bengals. 9-8 last season. Joe Burrow's back, but granted, Jake Browning played pretty well. I'm in relief. As a backup, he played pretty well. I think that's not unfair to say. No more Joe Mixon, but Zach Moss was a solid guy who was good for the Colts, and they brought him in. Yeah. What are we thinking here, fellas?
Second place for me. Tied with the
First
Ravens,
place
though.
for me.
So I got him at 11-6
Okay.
also. Burrow being back for a full season, hopefully should be big time. Losing Brian Callahan could be a factor because he was just a really good OC for that team.
Was he even calling plays, though? I don't think he was.
Can't remember.
Yeah,
Can't remember if
I think it was Zach
or
Taylor
him.
called.
I think
plays at
Taylor
one
was still
point.
calling plays.
Okay.
But still, like, an OC is
yeah.
a very important job in any team. Unless you're, what's his name? Jets offensive coordinator.
Hackett.
Hackett.
Thank you. Unless you're Hackett.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it's Rodgers' job is
Yeah.
to
Then
be
you're
the
just
coordinator.
licking ass all day.
I
like the defense too. I
Yeah.
still think the defense is pretty good.
I think that their defense is good. I think losing Reader on the inside is obviously not good. He was very good defensive lineman. But it's like this offense is so good with Burrow in. Like, they just make it work. Like, they made it to the Super Bowl against all odds somehow. So I really like them to win this division. But with that being said, I won't be surprised if The Browns could win it, if they get competent quarterback play. Ravens could easily win it. And, if things go right for the Steelers, they could win it. So I think that, this will be a very competitive division.
Yeah.
I think one thing to keep an eye on
I
too,
think,
though,
yeah.
quick Sam, is I just think the whole wide receiver situation, just with Higgins and the franchise tag, and then Jamar not being paid yet. That's just something to keep an eye on throughout the rest of training camp and the preseason too. Is just how does their situations unfold, and does T get traded or something, or who knows?
I mean, they're in a win now. Why would you trade T now? He's gonna play.
Yeah, I definitely think T's going to play through the season.
Yeah.
But I don't think they pay him when they have to pay Jamar.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's definitely gonna be interesting.
I don't know. I mentioned before that they won the division at 15-2 with my predictions. That's obviously not going to happen. That's wild. But like Tyler said, it's easy to just scroll through and picture their best game in your head, and it's oh yeah, they should win that game. Whatever. So yeah, I got them winning. I think this is the Joe Burrow year. Like I said, I got him to win MVP on that brief choice as well. I just think they're coming up. I'm a big believer in home field advantage and schedule, and looking at the schedules and stuff. They have a 4th place schedule this year, coming off that 8 and 9. So overall, they just have an easier road to winning the division this year. The Ravens have to play a 1st place schedule, that kind of thing. Just other little things that I think play a bigger difference than people realize. But yeah, no, I agree. I think Joe Burrow finds a way. He's at least proven himself to be a regular season winner. He still hasn't beaten Mahomes in the playoffs, but
He has once.
he did that year that he went. Did they not beat the Bills to
They
win
beat-
to go to the to play
No, they
with
beat the Chiefs.
They did. Okay.
Yes.
So I guess
Yeah.
they got him. He got him once then. But yeah, I
Remember,
think
it was
the Bengals are
Burrowhead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bengals
yeah.
fans were saying Burrowhead instead of
That's right.
Arrowhead. So
What was I gonna say? Yeah. Bengals. They're gonna be hot this year.
Yeah. And just like that was a hot episode off the press of the Moderately Athletic podcast. Hope you boys enjoyed listening, because our demographic is all men. If you wouldn't mind, smash that like button down below.
if you're a girl, turn it off.
Yeah.
Turn it
Go
off. We
girl.
don't want you here.
If
Yeah.
you've made it this far, I'm sorry, you might not be a girl.
You're sick in the head
Yeah.
if you made it this far.
Yeah, pretty much.
I hope we all know who
Um,
Byron Murphy is now too. Do we
Yes.
all know? Do we all know who
Yes.
he is? Seahawks rookie D tackle.
Yeah, the third time he comes around, I think
think
we're going
I-
to get it right.
I think I would have had it until I think Decker told me the story about Sam getting it wrong, and then in my head it got all mixed up. So
Man,
I'll-
you even
I'll-
had prep time.
I'll
man.
take the
You
full
even-
blame. No, I didn't have prep time, dude.
Yeah, you did. He told you about it.
Well, yeah,
We're getting off track.
Whatever.
We're getting
yeah.
off track. Yeah. Yeah. Last little plug. If you want to submit any questions for us that you want us to answer, our email is askmoderately@gmail.com. That is askmoderately@gmail.com. That, or you can DM us on Instagram. Some people check those. But
And next week's episode will be twice as long, so buckle up.
exactly 3 hours of NFC nonsense.
Oh yeah.
Get strapped in, fellas. Thank you for listening. You have a good night, everybody.